Hello, I'm Jaecen, and who better to create me than Wii? Yeah, suck it, God, I can make humans with a magic wand too!
The Mii Channel. It's been a staple on Nintendo consoles since 2006. A simple, clever character creation tool that spread its DNA into all of these Nintendo consoles, as well as mobile phone apps, games, and even websites. Miis are so iconic and ingrained in Nintendo's culture the same way that Mario, Samus, and Link are, and it's for good reason. I mean, just take a look at these guys. Abomination or not, you must have some sentimental value towards at least one of them. What are the origins of these doll-like creatures? Where are they now? And why did we see them flood our TV screens for all of these years? To give a long-winded history, you can skip to the other chapters by the way, the very idea of a Nintendo character creator has been around a lot longer than you would think, as early as the Famicom disk system. For us Westerners, that's the NES. In 1987, Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of, Italians, developed this game where you can make a face from predetermined assets. It's pretty robust given its age. There's a whole suit of eyes, ears, nose, mouths, hairstyles, everything a human has. I think. I mean, taking a look at this demo in all of its 2007 glory, it's a little hard to tell, but at the time, it would have been a fun tool just to mess around with. You can even animate the face moving.
What?
By using a separate disc.
Fuck!
As you can see, even for a Famicom game, the blueprint of what would become the Mii Maker was starting to form itself. However, the higher-ups at Nintendo weren't too keen on the idea of a game where you just make faces, and it would have cost more to make another game just to animate them, so the idea was scrapped. But Miyamoto, that man would not give up on this idea. 12 years later, in 1999, the Nintendo 64 DD was released to much fanfare, and yeah, I don't blame you for not knowing what this thing is. It practically slowed down Nintendo's input on games in the late 90s because they were too busy developing this damn thing in games for it. But hey, without it, we wouldn't have the modern incarnations of Miis, as some of the most important pieces of the development of them are found here. A year later, in 2000, Mario Artist Talent Studio released. Similar to that Famicom prototype, it's a game where you make avatars and make them move around. However, a major difference here is that the faces are realistic? It's pretty uncanny. You can use the Game Boy camera to capture your face or this weird cartridge with composite video output that connects to a normal camera. You can give them different outfits, mix and match clothes, and even their underwear. Yeah, this software is weird, and Nintendo probably wonders why they only sold 15,064 DDs.
What's the color of your fucking boxers?
The idea of putting you in the game is still there, even after all of these years later. And again, even though this add-on and its games flopped big time, Miyamoto did not give up on his laurels. In E3 2002, this weird stage debut tech demo for the GameCube was shown off. Now, you may be asking yourself,
What the hell is this?
well, in the middle of bottom right, those are both Iwata and Miyamoto respectively, and again, it's hard to tell in all of that 240p glory, but they're kinda shaped like how Miis are. The idea for this tech demo was to, again, put a player in the game by making their own avatar and just watch them have fun, and yet again, the higher-ups in Nintendo said,
Jesus, you're still on this?
But Satoru Iwata, the former president of Nintendo, approached Miyamoto, asking him if he was still working on that face creator thingamajig. Miyamoto basically said, yeah, but we haven't made a game out of it, I'm having trouble. And call it a twist of fate, Iwata informed Miyamoto there was another team inside of Nintendo working on a similar concept but for the Nintendo DS. So Miyamoto abandoned ship on his previous team working on his face creation tool and joined the team working on the DS software. The DS is the perfect device for something like this, and take a look at these screenshots, they look almost final. Aside from the Miis themselves, they're a little jaggy, but man, this software is so similar to the final one. No wonder Miyamoto hopped on over to this other team. He even called his old team useless.
So, I went back to my team and I said, you guys are useless.
And from here, everything starts to fall in place. Hisashi Nogami, the producer for the Animal Crossing and Splatoon series, he's the guy that did this.
Splatoon 2.
Called this idea genius. After years of seeing his idea be rejected over and over again, this must have felt so cathartic. Nogami originally had the idea to use Miis in 3 different games until he had the better idea to make them part of the Wii itself, to be used across multiple games. This was pretty late into development of the console, so they had to rush out a Mii Channel just for this to work, and in 2 months they somehow made a system function more fun and polished than Assassin's Creed Unity. Doesn't that blow your mind? 2 months before the Wii's debut, they developed the most iconic channel for the system and even got it to work with the Wii's launch title, Wii Sports. And that's not including the multiple rejections for the past 20 years, the crunch they went through just to make everyone's face not look too Japanese, and these Kokeshi dolls being swapped out for these suckers.
And now, Miis are forever iconic. ingrained into culture, survived by Gen Zers making weird edits of the music, and yet, the idea still feels as fresh as ever, like this 15-year-old protein shake.
And here we are. In Christmas 2006, there was nothing more enjoyable than this. Pure bliss. Also, I got my Wii in 2008, and 6-year-old me didn't know how to Wii remote work. Fuck me, am I right? This is the Mii Channel. Those years of rejection Miyamoto faced all culminated into this, and to this day, it's still fun making Miis on an original Wii. There's nothing like waggling the Wii remote around, choosing different options, and seeing your face instantly change. And come on, this music is so iconic. I dare say it's as iconic as the Mario theme now. Let's talk about the Mii name first. It's pretty genius. Taking that W and giving it a 6 o'clock rotation is great brand building. I love how everything on the Wii is so unified compared to other Nintendo consoles. It has an identity that isn't matched by anything nowadays. So here we have the Plaza. It's looking a little empty though, so we need to populate it.
With osmosis?
And wow, guess what? There are options, and lots of them. You know, for old time's sake, let's make a Mii. It's never been easier to create a perfect life form of your choosing. Since this is a face maker, that's where all the attention is going to. Eyes, noses, mouth, glasses, facial hair, down to the blush of your Mii. There has never been a face creator this robust from Nintendo. So I created my Mii. I say that looks enough like me. But he's looking a little lonely, so let's create more. And that's why I love the Mii Channel. You can get so creative within the limitations of the Mii Maker. You can make your Mii look like a video game character, your SO, your friends, an item, or from a lookalike. What? Okay, has anyone used this option? It just kinda gives you a couple of pre-made faces, and it keeps going until you choose the face that you want. I swear no one has used this option. It takes you right back to the Mii Maker anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Since we're populated now, we can go back to the Plaza. You can line them all up by pressing this whistle icon here, and even sort them by the color of their shirt, gender, alphabetically, or by their favorites.
Oh wait, there's another word for that. Uh-oh.
Here you can also edit and delete your Mii. I always found this animation to be bizarre as hell. Like, think about it from your Mii's perspective. You're just minding your own business and God just throws you in the trash. If you enable sharing or mingling as it's called in the Wii world, you can take them to the Mii Parade, where all your Miis do is walk for an eternity. You can pick out some Miis that your friends made here to put in your Plaza as well if your Wii is connected to the internet. However, since the Wii's online services ended, I don't know, fucking 7 years ago, you can't really utilize this feature anymore. And that's the Mii Channel. It's basic, but it's what the Wii needs. It's dummy quick just to whip up a character, and it feels nostalgic just hearing that tune while you make it. It's almost like you're shopping and you're looking through a Christmas catalog of your favorite facial features. I love the Mii Channel. It's everything the Wii represented. Simple and intuitive, yet futuristic and flashy.
Now take all what I said about the Mii Channel and apply it 3 more times.
On the 3DS, the Mii Channel was renamed to the Mii Maker, and that is a fitting change, as that's basically all that it is now. Apologies if this footage looks like ass. There's no easy way to acquire a 3DS capture card anymore without shelling out a ton of money for one, and I only have an original 3DS, so I can't really do any homebrew options here. I'm using the Citra emulator to capture this footage, so I can get as much as I can. Honestly, you're not missing out on much. It's mostly the same. You got the same options, same eyes, noses, mouths, mustaches, with a couple of new options here and there, us things that we humans apparently have. But since the 3DS has some cameras and is a much more internet-capable device, you have some more options for sharing your Miis. For starters, you can share them via QR codes. This right here is pretty neat. It's way simpler than just cherry-picking what friends your Miis have in the parade. You can either scan them and share them, as well as save your Mii as an image if you really like yourself. You can even transfer your old Miis from your Wii if you don't want to go through the process of making them again. And lastly, one of the coolest features here is that you can use the camera of the 3DS to make your Mii look like you. And it works as well as you think it does. The 3DS's cameras aren't really good at all, so most of the time your Miis look like if someone ran you over. But hey, it's still a pretty novel concept, and I'm sure it will be refined in a new console with a new maker. As for the presentation, it's a portable device, but it still retains the charm that the original Mii Channel has. Since this is for mobile devices, it's even quicker just to whip up the Mii in the maker. Just touch that screen and your option is instantly on your face. However, since it's a second iteration, it doesn't feel as fresh as the Wii's. Though I do appreciate the 3DS Mii Maker, the Mii Channel on the Wii simply cannot be beaten. And it's not gonna get any better. The Wii U, everyone's favorite hunk of shit. I have to rely on some footage here. Again, my apologies. My Wii U GamePad is kinda... I should really get a new one. I love this system. But what I don't love is the over-reliance on this thing. The maker itself is much the same, however it's all on the GamePad this time. Essentially, take the 3DS Mii Maker, make it HD, and you have the most isolating experience known to man. Your friends and family can see the Mii you're making on the TV, but doesn't it just kinda look weird? Like, they can't fully mirror the GamePad screen as opposed to this? The sharing features from the 3DS remain on the Wii U, as well as the ability to make Miis from the camera. Now I wish I can demonstrate this feature, but again... But I do have this photo from 2015 and...
Maybe I shouldn't buy another Wii U.
And to top it off, there's not even a plaza here anymore, it's just a shelf of your Miis doing some poses. I guess it goes back to the Kokeshi doll roots that Miis originally came from, and from that perspective, it's cool I guess. But seeing your Miis walk around and interact felt so... lively. Seeing them like this feels oddly dehumanizing, even though they're avatars for an irrelevant console. You know what else feels dehumanizing? Jesus, am I creating life or am I at a funeral? The Switch is Mii Maker. I don't know how to feel about it. On one hand, it's the most robust out of any of the makers. There are more options for all different kinds of faces, and you can make your eyes and hair any color you want. That's pretty cool. But this presentation, man, it's so bare bones and lifeless. It's a no-frills character creator now, and I'm conflicted. On one hand, it's even faster to make a Mii since the option just appears in a blink of an eye. On the other, it doesn't have the charm that the previous makers have, and with the lack of music, it just feels like I'm browsing through menus. It's just okay, but I expected way more. And look at that, just a menu displaying your Miis, not even a shelf or a plaza. This is just a problem with the Switch's UI in general. It's so bare bones and boring compared to previous Nintendo consoles. Hell, even the 64DD had more personality. But all of that aside, the evolution of the Mii Maker was fun to witness, but the highest point was definitely on the Wii. It's insane how much they got right in the first go around here. And with everything after, they didn't shake up the formula enough to get people excited over the idea of Miis again. And yeah, I know that's their intent, to gradually give Miis the backseat with Nintendo games. The next Nintendo console may or may not use Miis at all, so let's all enjoy them while they last.
The charm of making your own avatar slowly wore off to the collective masses, and you know, that's perfectly fine, but I do miss the excitement of making your Mii for the first time again. Now, what the hell do these things do in your free time?
You made all these avatars, now where the hell do you apply them? Miis have shown up in a variety of games, mostly by Nintendo. Again, since Miis were predominantly in the Wii era, most of them show up here. If the game has Wii in the title, chances are the game's gonna use Miis. Except Wii Chess.
No!
I'll talk about a couple games per system, as well as do a lightning round of some of the other uses that Miis have in games. Most games would just use them as a save icon or just have them in the background, but some games full on let you play as your Mii, and what better game to start with than... I mean, come on, I had to, right? I love Wii Sports, which is weird because this is just a glorified tech demo. I still pop this game in my Wii once a year to play with friends. That's how much I love this game. Since the Wii was stupid simple, anyone could play any game in this collection. You just swung the Wii remote like a bat, and the simplicity of it all is what grabbed a lot of people, myself included. My personal favorite sport is boxing. Though the controls can be jank nowadays, just swinging your arm like an idiot is still fun. I plan on talking about this game in detail in the future, but Wii Sports, I love this game. Its sequel, Wii Sports Resort, is better in a lot of ways, more sports, better motion control, and better presentation, but I just can't let go of the simplicity of the first one. It really is one of my favorite games of all time. For the handful of games that use Miis on the Wii, their uses are pretty neat. For example, in Mario Kart Wii, you can use your Mii as a racer in the game. Yup, my aunt is in Mario Kart, and depending on the size of your Mii, it can bring over the different weight classes that Mario Kart uses. So if your Mii is on the smaller side, it'll bring the lightweight class set. And if your Mii is a little bigger, it'll be in the heavyweight class set. In Wii Music, all of your Miis can be part of a band, but it's fucking Wii Music, why would you play this? And in Animal Crossing City Folk, you can use your Mii's face as the villager's face, and I do not like this. I guess if you're into mutilation, there's an option for you? Moving on over to the 3DS, there's a lot more going on here. Even though fewer third-party games support Miis, the games that do use them are the best implementations of Miis Nintendo has ever done. So, for starters, there's Street Pass. If you're wondering where the Mii Plaza went on the 3DS, this is where. If you so happen to be near someone and both of you have your 3DSs in your pocket in sleep mode, both of you get a Street Pass. Your Mii and theirs get sent over to each other's plaza, and the more you get, the more your parade fills up. This is mine. Yes, I have a ton of Street Passes, and this was so fun. Just knowing that someone in your school had a 3DS on them was so cool to think about. Now you can't message anyone on the 3DS via Street Pass as far as I'm aware, so I didn't really make any friends using this. But let a kid thing, okay? I had a lot of fun going to events with my 3DS in my pocket, and seeing my plaza fill up to this amount, oh man. Now as for other games, Animal Crossing New Leaf did that same creepy face mutilation thing that City Folk did, and I still dislike it. In Tomodachi Life, you can take your Miis to an island and populate said island with them. This is a pretty underrated game that's fun for about a week, and that's it. I kid, Tomodachi Life has its charm, but it's certainly one of those one and done games for me. And in Miitopia, they can be party members in an RPG. I always wanted to kill God with Abraham Lincoln. This is a dream come true! More on this game later, as there's a Switch version as well. On the Wii U, not much has changed, but the amount of games is certainly starting to dwindle. All of them amount to using your Mii as a playable character, but the coolest use was definitely in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Oh my god, I'm in Smash! You can give your Mii a unique moveset and fight in battle. I'm surprised this wasn't done in Brawl. Apparently it was to prevent cyberbullying, what? But hey, it's here, and it's pretty underwhelming. You can choose 3 different classes you want your Mii to fight in. The Brawler, the Gunner, and the Sword Fighter. And the moves are okay. They're kinda laggy, except the Brawler who has the best moves in my opinion. But to remedy that, you can upgrade them with stat boosters, but these were banned in tournaments anyway, so there's no damn point. I like the idea of Mii's being in Smash, but the way they're executed is just... I feel like if they incorporated moves from other Wii title games, I would have been way more into this. I think if they incorporated the boxing from Wii Sports or the swordplay from Wii Sports Resort, I think it would have made for a pretty unique moveset. But as it stands, I don't really care. But what I do care and miss fondly is Miiverse. Oh my god, remember this? This was Nintendo's very own social media platform tailor-made for their consoles. And it's as good as every social media platform out there. Miiverse was not only special because it was Nintendo's form of online, but it was also special if we rearranged the syllables a bit. Yes, Miiverse was a cesspool of degeneracy, and I loved it. The Mii integration, I'll admit, is a little lackluster, as they basically act as emojis or something, but the community that Miiverse had was such a shit show that you couldn't help but laugh. Miiverse provided me with so much entertainment that I can't hate at all. I genuinely do miss it. Now for our last console, the Nintendo Switch. Jesus, my grocery list is bigger than this. There's not really much to write home here. In Smash Ultimate, they've been relegated to deconfirming characters that people really want. And that's it? It's basically nothing we haven't seen before. There's really not much here. I guess I can talk about Miitopia since there's a Switch port now. And honestly, I had a lot more fun than I was expecting. I never got around to playing this on the 3DS, so playing now was a pretty eye-opening experience. Sure, you can't control your party members and the gameplay is as rudimentary as an RPG can get, but its quirky dialogue and its fun bits of gameplay are what grabbed me for this demo. Another thing that grabbed me was the customization options for the Miis because, oh my god. With this, you can literally create anyone and anything with this maker, and it's the most impressive face creator that Nintendo has ever made. Like, Jesus, do you see these? The customization for Miis in this game are the best since his original carnation on the Wii. Like, I put Kanye West and Jesus here. Do you think you can stop me? If you haven't played this on the 3DS, maybe you should pick it up. It's a JRPG for people who aren't into JRPGs. You'd think with the most robust maker, they would be used a lot more, but no. There's barely anything. Not even Animal Crossing has some mutilation thing going on. And it's a sign of the times. Even though games are getting ported with Miis as a central focus, the future is not looking too bright for these guys, especially with the dwindling list of games. But hey, let's not forget the mobile games. Well, remember Miitomo? It's Nintendo's first foray into mobile games. In essence, it's pretty similar to Tomodachi Life, but instead it focuses on one Mii. And there was a big push for social media. You just watch your Mii pace around the apartment, and you can take pictures of them in interesting situations, but that's basically it. It came as quickly as it went. Did anyone care about Miitomo? I mean, it's cute, but I remember playing it back then and not being too enthralled. I was just bored a couple of days after I downloaded the game and I promptly deleted it. And it seems that Nintendo didn't care either, as it shut down only 2 years after its release. Great. Miis will forever go down in Nintendo history as a landmark in their evolution. They represent an era of Nintendo that, for better or for worse, modernized them and made them become who they are today. I mean, for God's sake, the Wii was originally called Revolution, and its influence can be felt to this very day. I care way too much for these things. I mean, one of my first consoles ever was the Wii, and making Miis was just something I did when I was really bored. I didn't have a lot of games for my Wii until I modded it, so it was just fun seeing them in my baseball team. I made that hamburger Mii, I made my friends and family, I made that Iwata Mii, I even made Bob Ross. I probably care way too much about a character creator more than I like to admit, but the amount of entertainment it provided me is so invaluable. Miis are an icon that's worth preserving, and they'll forever be a Nintendo landmark.
I love the Mii Maker. Giving life for me to toy with is my favorite pastime. Playing as anyone I wanted to in a game is a charm that'll never wear off to me, and to the Mii Maker, I salute you. Hey God, can you control your own creations? Hey, that's what I thought, bitch. Uh-oh. Ah!